guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. Today I have on the show author L.A. Lewis with the book that she has written called Torn, A Daughter's Love. Now, when I read the synopsis of this book, I'm like, man, what would I do if I was Angel? I don't want to give it away, right? But I just think that that would be such a tough decision. And I know people are thinking, what are you talking about, Martinique? That's why you got to go to the synopsis. And that's why I'm happy that you're on the show, Lorna, because it's such a great book. And I just want people to hear your inspiration and why did you even decide to write a book like this? But before you answer anything, guys, again, thank you so much for tuning into the show. All of our contact information is listed in the description box. So our Facebook pages, our Instagram pages, as well as my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you truly enjoy the shows that I create, make sure you go ahead and go visit my PayPal account as well as my GoFundMe page. Lorna, thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You are welcome. So can you just tell our viewers just a little bit more about yourself?
Yes. So I am, as you know, an author. I've been writing this is my 9th year as an author. I published my first book in 2009. So wait, so this is my 10th year.
Well, come on, celebrate. You're so funny. You're so funny.
You didn't even celebrate. Okay, this is my 10th year as an author. I'm also an educator. I'm no longer in the education system. I actually took the big leap out of the education system to become a full-time author and writing coach.
Wow.
Last year. So this made one full year that I've been writing full-time. I'm also a writing coach, as I mentioned, and I'm a wife and mother. And I love all of my titles.
Right. So now, how long were you in the education field then?
16 years.
Wow. Wow. And so did you teach one particular age range or grade, or were you just multiple grades?
I started out, of course, in the classroom. Then I moved, when I left, I was an instructional specialist. So I was actually working with teachers to make sure, their instruction was reaching the children that they were teaching. So that's why I knew, because my job was not stressful. I actually loved it, but I still felt that tug, like I didn't feel like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. So that's how I knew it was meant for me to move, because like I said, it wasn't a stressful job. It wasn't one that I hated going to every day because of, people have trouble with their bosses or their coworkers. I loved everyone I worked with. So I knew it was time. When I kept feeling like, what is it? Like, it's not the job. What is it? So I knew it was, it was inside. It was me. So I made the leap, and I have not looked back.
So to me, that sounds like I would come and visit you if I was struggling with how to write my lesson plan.
Right. How to write your lesson plan.
Okay.
If you were, I would go in and observe if there was a lesson. Some teachers would ask me to come and observe a lesson to give them feedback, to reach those students that they may be missing, those lower students, or even the higher students that they feel like, okay, they already know all of this. So how do I challenge them more? So I really worked with instruction. That was my whole purpose for being on that campus, to work with instruction from kindergarten, pre-K actually, through 5th grade.
Wow, that is excellent. That is kudos to you. I mean, I think that would be difficult to just leave like that, especially because you enjoy what you were doing.
Right.
When you hate something, you're like, I'm glad I'm done doing that.
It was not stressful at all. It wasn't, but I wasn't fulfilled. That was the thing.
So Who are the main characters in your book called Torn, A Daughter's Love? Now, I know I gave one away. Her name is Angel. Who are
Yes.
the other characters?
Okay, of course, there's Angel. Angel has three siblings. There's Erica and Eric, the twins, and Morgan, who is the baby of the family,
Mm-hmm.
and her mom and dad, Cynthia and Brian. Um, Later in the story, you're also introduced to Brandy and her mom, Sylvia. So they all play a very significant role in this story.
Okay. 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 And you said Cynthia and Brian are her parents.
Right.
So, can you tell us a little bit more about the book without giving it away?
Yeah. Um, Cynthia and Brian, like so many people that I know, deal with health issues. Cynthia is diabetic and Brian has high blood pressure. So for years they've dealt with these issues and they took the medicine and all of that. They've gone to their doctor's appointments, but outside of that, lifestyle changes they weren't doing. So years of ignoring the signs and not doing what they should have been doing in terms of eating right, getting the proper exercise and things like that finally had its toll on their bodies. And both Cynthia and Brian found themselves in a very, very, very awful position of needing a kidney. Their kidney failed. And so they were on dialysis, but they were on dialysis for so long that it got to the point where the dialysis was starting to affect their other organs. Okay. So now they're both in a position where they both really, really need a kidney in order to sustain a healthy lifestyle. And in some instances, a lifestyle period, because it becomes life-threatening as the story goes on. So everyone in the town has been tested. Well, everyone that they know of has been tested. Their children, two of them have health issues of their own, and one just wasn't a match because her kidney was too small. So the only known match is Angel for both of them. So that's why it's called Torn. She's torn. What do you do? Both of your parents need your kidney.
And Angel is healthy.
She's very healthy. Angel is a health coach. Angel is a health blogger. Angel is the coach of the family. She's the one in the family who's been pushing for her parents to eat healthier. She's the one who's been buying the juicers and buying, all these different gadgets and the treadmill and all, the gym membership, like whatever she can to get them to be healthy, because she's very fit and she's very healthy. But, they, like most of us, you do it for a minute and then it's always back to the norm,
So, especially since you're writing a storyline that deals with, some type of medical condition, do you have to actually consult doctors or, somebody that knows more about dialysis and kidney transplants and things like that?
I didn't actually consult doctors, but I read tons. Like, I can't even tell you how many. I've read blogs, I've read medical journals and online articles about kidney, because I wanted to make sure that the information I was presenting, like their problems, were true. I wanted to make sure that it is possible to for dialysis to start affecting your other organs. I wanted to make sure that the information I was putting out there was something that actually happened, that actually could happen. So I've read stories of people who lived with life after kidney transplant, and they shared their journey through, so I took bits and pieces from what I read and put it into Brian and Cynthia's story.
One thing that I'm thinking about is, just as an author, the influence that you have on your readers, so I know with movie producers, when we watch a movie, especially when I watched this movie called Concussion, and I'm telling you, that movie, I was trying to convince my sister so much, like, you need to take my nephew out football,
Right.
And do you feel any of that type of burden, especially like with a book like this, to more so inform people so that they would be a lot more proactive with their health?
Definitely. Definitely. As I was writing the book, that was my prayer. It was always that my readers are entertained, but also informed, and that something about their story, even though it's fiction, but they will see some of themselves in Cynthia and Brian.
Okay.
It could be just that they know, okay, I know that I have high blood pressure. And I know I shouldn't be eating all this food. And I know that I could end up like Cynthia and Brian. My organs could start to fail because, my blood pressure isn't stable all the time. Yeah. So, or just stand, because I know someone who's dealing with a family member who, the medication was starting to affect the organs. So, it's like, okay, the very thing that's meant to keep you healthy is hurting in other ways, know? So those type of things, that's what I really hope people, especially the people that need it, I hope they pull from that and something, inside of them say, okay, I need to make a change. It may not be as drastic as my daughter have to choose between me and my spouse, but I still don't want my loved ones to suffer through me being sick, or getting sicker because of the choices that I'm making. Right. Especially if it's preventable,
Yeah, but it's hard to cut back those fried foods. It is so hard.
I totally agree. It is so hard, but that's where the mind comes in. You have to really make up your mind that I want a healthier life, and I know that it's still not easy. I think I know it's easier with a support system. It's hard if you're in the house and you're the only one making a change, right, and everyone else still eating normal, and you sit up here with a salad. That's not gonna last long.
So true. So true.
So it becomes a family issue,
How do you just not give up because of all of, like, maybe being bogged down with so much information that you're intaking? Because I'm just thinking about when I was in seminary. I'm writing papers, and you have to, once you find out one thing from researching something, you find out, and it's just like a ongoing cycle. You like, I'm just trying to find out why Jesus said such. and so many times I just wanted to give up, but I couldn't, because I done paid for this. I'm trying to get this grade. How do you not give up with somebody constantly, on your back saying, look, Lorna, you got to get done with this?
By the time I started the research process, I was so into their story. So it wasn't like a burden, and it was really interesting, honestly, reading all these people. I've never taken the time to even read about the process of being a donor. I think in the story that was very, very interesting that I did get from research was the number of people that are on the donors list, and the fact that we as African Americans there are very few of us who are able to donate because of health issues and being overweight. Our lifestyle prevent us from helping our community. So that was like an eye opener to me. It was like, wow, So it was so interesting that it didn't feel like a research paper. It felt like I was just sitting down talking to a friend, and they were sharing their story with me.
That's good. That's good. So what inspired you to even write a book with this type of storyline?
So, okay. The inspiration for this book is so totally off of health at all. Okay. That's the funny part about it. Okay. So I don't even remember the name of this show. Now, let me tell you, as an author, we get inspired by some of the strangest things. Okay. And this isn't so far-fetched, but anyway, I was binge watching a show. I cannot remember the name of the show, but on the show, it was a fiance and his they're both fiancés. So both of them, she's a private detective and he's a spy. So both of them were looking for a briefcase full of money. Okay. They did not realize that they were both looking for this briefcase full of money. So they ended up getting to the briefcase at the exact same time. She needed the money to say as a ransom for her brother. He needed the money as ransom for his best friend, who's like a brother. So they're in this, predicament where it's one thing that they both really need to save a life.
Mm-hmm.
So the author in me was like, let me tell you, every great story started, what if?
Yeah.
So that's what I was. What if it wasn't money? What if it was something else?
Yeah.
And what if it was, what if it was more personable, versus a friend and a brother?
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of playing with ideas. And I wasn't even thinking about writing a book, honestly.
Okay.
I was just playing with the worst case scenario, just thinking about it after watching that episode. And I thought about, first I thought about a parent having to save, their children. So, but like I told my Facebook viewers already, I couldn't write that story because I'm a parent. So just the thought alone is like, no, I can't even go there. So I said, well, what if it was reversed? What if it was a daughter or a son who had to save his parents or her parents? Mm-hmm. So that's what the idea came from. And after I started playing with the idea and more ideas started coming, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna write it. And so I started writing, and I knew I wanted it to be a short story. I didn't want to write another full-length novel because I am coaching and, doing everything else that I have going on. So I didn't want to commit to a novel. I wanted to commit to a short story. So Torn is a short story, 70 pages. It's a one-day read. It should only take you one day to finish.
Yeah. So I think that, I just think that that's amazing. But I guess that's with all creative people. They draw their inspiration from everything.
Everything, yes.
And that I feel like that would possibly be one of the difficulties in dating somebody that was a movie producer or an author. Because you don't know. You might end up in that person's book. So you better act right.
Yeah, but not even dating someone, just being that person. Like for me, because I'm always thinking of these what if situations. Yeah. The simplest thing, if my child does not answer his phone after I've tried him 3 times, then he's been kidnapped. Like I already know they kidnapped him and they are halfway around the world with him already. So it's all those things. Like I make up these stories even when I don't want to make them up. Like I don't want to think that way, but I can't shut it off.
Right. So how long have you been interested in writing books?
Actually, I was not even interested in writing a book. Okay. I started by writing. I was teaching 2nd grade and it was the summer, and I was working on a workbook because we figured out that there's a huge gap between 2nd and 3rd grade standards. So I was like, well, okay, now that I know this, I'm going to work on something that I can work with my students on at the end of the year that will prepare them better for 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. So now this was back in 2009. They've since changed things. So I started working on an ELA and a math workbook. Well, with the ELA, it was short stories. But I was so into writing these short stories. Like, okay, these are supposed to be short stories. You have to cut this story off. You can't keep going with this story. So I was like, okay, I just wanted to write. Like the urge to keep writing was just so overwhelming at that point. So I finished that and I started working on a book, which is actually my first book. It's about a school teacher. So I sat down and I was like, okay, I know I want it to be about a school teacher, but I know she has to have some drama. It can't just be about her going, teaching, and coming home every day. So I started writing that, and I was so excited. My husband came home, I read it to him, and he was like, yeah, that's not good. I was like, but it gets better. You have to listen. It gets better. He was like, but who's going to keep reading? You have, no one's going to wait for it to get better. Yeah. I know that. I'm an avid reader. I know that. So, but to just hear him say it was like, doggone it, you right. So I had to scrap all that, which I still do. As an author, you write all this stuff. Half of it don't even make it in the book, but you write it anyway. Mm-hmm. And so that's what, working on a workbook sparked my need and my want and my hunger to tell stories.
That's good. That's good. So, why is Torn such a great book to add to our collection? I know why I would, but what would you tell the viewers? You know, because they already like, oh, I got a million books already. Why do I need this book?
Right. Torn is a great book to add. Because like I said, it's only 70 pages. And if you like me and you have a busy life and the thought of picking up a 300-page book is just feels overwhelming, but you love to read, this is a great book to read because, like I said, it won't take you long to get through the story. It's also a great book because it's very entertaining. It's very informative. And there's a twist that everyone who reads the book have to tell me I did not see that coming. That's the type of author I am. I don't like predictable. And I knew when I set it up that they were going to go one place with it, but that's how I set it up. So when it took them somewhere totally different, they were like, I didn't see it. I thought I had it figured out.
Yeah. Well, guys, if you are interested in purchasing Lorna's book, make sure you go to my description box because I actually have her website in the description box as well as that Amazon link where you can purchase her book. If you're just now tuning into the show, you are watching Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. And I have our special guest author, L.A. Lewis. She is the author of Torn, A Daughter's Love. So can you tell us a little bit about the other books that you've written?
Yes. So as I said, the first book is Dirty Little Secrets. And that is the book about the teacher.
Okay.
So it's about a teacher, her husband, and work. So her home life and her work life collides.
Okay.
In a way that she never expected.
She found a boo at school, didn't she? I know.
No. But listen to where she found out about her work life and her home life.
Okay.
In Walmart.
I tell you, go in there for one thing, you come out with epiphanies and stuff.
Look, I said, don't ever tell your children there's nothing they can't do. Because one thing they can't do is go in Walmart and buy one thing and come So that is not true.
Yep.
So after she finds out all of this stuff in Walmart, she starts to, she has to deal with it now. And in dealing with it, she ends up making secrets of her own. And so they're trying to figure out, can their marriage sustain all the secrets that they've created?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's Dirty Little Secrets. Dirty Little Secrets 2 introduces us to her sister.
She got full of, she just sounds like she full of drama.
She has so much drama. Like crazy. So much drama.
And she must be the younger sister, isn't she?
No, actually, she's the older sister.
Oh, okay.
She's the older sister. Yes. So, and there's a death in Dirty Little Secrets 2 that no one will ever see coming. It's so unexpected. Yeah. So I end their saga in Dirty Little Secrets 2. There's no 3. So after that is Double Down and Dirty, and that is about Jade Bordeaux. Jade is from Louisiana, but she moves to New York because she has created secrets in Louisiana.
She's trying to run away from her.
She's running away, but like all good secrets, they follow her to New York. So she's now, she's in this relationship and her secrets from the past are coming back. So she's trying to figure out how to keep her home life and her new life separate. But of course, that doesn't happen.
Right.
So you have to read to see how Jade gets through those secrets. And one decision she made caused the life of someone she loves very much.
Really? Really?
Yes.
So now, if you guys are interested in purchasing Lorna's book, make sure you check out her website and make sure you also share this video now so that individuals can learn more about Lorna. So now all of our viewers, if you're in Bogalusa, Louisiana, Lorna will be doing a book signing there. So make sure you like and follow her Facebook page so that when she announces, just the time and the actual address of the location, make sure you'll be notified for that. And where do you currently live?
I live in Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
Yes.
So I love me some Louisiana. I used to live in New Orleans. Lorna said in the beginning she's also a writing coach. What type of individual do you really feel could use your service as a writing coach?
Really anybody who has, I work with aspiring authors. I work with people who, because I was a kindergarten teacher, so I love seeing the light bulb come on. Like, I love filling people up with this knowledge that they had no idea about.
Yeah.
So I work with aspiring authors who have for years wanted to write a book, and they've been putting it off. They really just don't, or they just don't know where to start. And the process of writing a book, the thought of it just feels overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I work with those type of people. If you have a great story to tell and you want to put it in a book, because like I tell everybody, all great stories aren't meant to go in books. Some may just meant to be speeches, or it doesn't mean you have to write a book about it. But if you are led to write a book, because writing is work. So if you are led to write a book, then I am the person that's going to help you with outlining your book, with the writing process of the book, with editing. I'm not an editor, but I work with two editors, with getting the book formatted and published. So I take them from planning to publish. You don't have to figure anything out. I help you through each process of finishing your book.
That's good. That's good. And I feel like that's something that you really need, somebody that's going to walk along with you
Yeah.
just through that process. And one of the great things about this, you all, is you don't have to live in Baton Rouge. You
Nope.
can receive Lorna's coaching services virtually. So
Right.
that's really good. That's really good. So now, do you offer any free consultations for individuals that are considering utilizing your coaching service?
I do. I offer a 30-minute free consultation. And during that time, we talk about their story, what they're looking to get, what type of help they're looking to receive. Because everyone who's writing a book probably not necessarily looking to publish that book. Some people are not looking to publish it for the public. Some people want to write, just family stories that they want just within their family. So that would kind of, help me set up the package that I'm, giving to them. So, and then there are some people who've actually already started, and they just need, they may be stuck. It's like, I don't know where to take this story next. I work with fiction and nonfiction authors. Most of my authors, surprisingly, are writing memoirs. So I work a lot with creating a memoir and making sure that they understand what a memoir really is, and stick it to those guidelines of writing a memoir.
So now you actually made me think of something. Why would somebody want to write a book just for their friends and family?
Some people do like family stories just to pass down. And
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, I actually had a lady, I was talking with her. We haven't started working together yet, but she has stories like her mom that she's gotten from her mom and her grandmother, that she wanted to put in a book to give to her children, and just to keep in the family. So their family wisdom and their words and their life and all of that could just stay within their family. It's not nothing she necessarily wanted to sell to other people.
Okay. That makes sense. I never even thought about that. It's usually that one cousin or something. It's like, we need to write this down so that we can have a
Right,
history.
exactly.
But I just never thought about actually making it a physical book that you can give to your different field. That's smart.
Yes.
And I know so many people want to do stuff like that. You guys go ahead and contact Lorna. Her email address is also in the description box. So you mentioned that a lot of individuals are interested in writing a memoir, and you have a class actually coming up, a memoir
Right.
writing class coming up in September. Can you tell our viewers what they would expect if they attended your memoir writing class? It's hard to say that one.
I know it's a lot. So during this class, it is 4 sessions. So it's 4 hours that's broken up to, it's Tuesday and Thursday, the first and second Tuesday and Thursday in September. We may go a little over because I have a lot of information to share. But the first session is talking about the outline, giving them tips and things to use to start creating their outline. And that's actually their first assignment. So this is a working class. This is not a class. This is not a workshop where they're just going to get, handouts and just listen to me talk about memoirs. I actually want them leaving writing their memoir. So the first class is really the only class where they're just listening. The second class is where the second, third, and fourth class are critiques. So they are taking what they did in the first class, and we're talking like, if I see things coming up in everybody's writing, then I'll address those. We're also going to look at the introductions of New York Times bestseller memoirs, and just to pull some tips from those. Of course we can't go through the whole memoir, but I'm pulling tips from those so that they can use when they're putting their memoirs together. So I really just want them to, like I said, leave writing. I feel like if you leave already writing, you're motivated to keep going.
Now, this class actually begins September 3rd. And if you guys are interested in that class, the registration link is in the description box. And Lorna got a special going on, y'all. It's $45. You better jump on it. You better jump on it. Don't sleep. That's the problem with people. They be sleeping on opportunity. Don't sleep on it.
I'm telling you, my writing friends are like, are you crazy? Do you know how much work you're about to do for $45? But that's the price that I felt, and that's what I went with. I wasn't about to challenge it. I just went with what I felt.
So now you said that you actually look at the New York's best-selling memoirs list. How can somebody write a bad memoir though? Is it just because of maybe I don't know, like if it's my story, what makes it a bad story? Or are you saying that some people's stories may not be enticing enough to become profitable for them?
That some people's stories are, now when we're looking at the New York Times best-selling memoirs, we are looking at the best of the best. And some of those even have some issues with them. So it's the creative process. Even though it's a memoir, it still has to be interesting. You still have to develop your characters. You still have to have a setting. You still have to set it up so that the people who are reading this are engaged. So I like to create, when I'm talking to my clients, I don't, I try to tell them not to do a whole lot of narrative, to really try to put dialogue in there. Because imagine if you were watching a reality show and the whole reality show was just the people sitting in the interview room telling you, well, so-and-so did this, and then she did this, and versus you actually seeing it happen. So when we create memoirs, even though it's about your life, we still want to bring it to life, because these people weren't there when that happened. So let them have a seat and let them actually see what happened.
Girl, you are so convincing. Good. That's good. I'm ready to write my story down. It's gonna be a short story, but so what's the difference between a narrative and dialogue? What does those two different things sound like?
The narrative is, like I said, the interview. She did this, and then she did that. Dialogue is you actually seeing, if it's two people versus you saying John and Sandy sat on the chair and John told Sandy to have a seat. John told Sandy what have you. Versus that, it would be, sit down, John said, or, John moved the chair for Sandy. And, if you hear him talk and you hear her talk and they're saying the words versus you telling us what they said.
Oh, okay. This is good, y'all. Come on. So how do you make your memoir sound interesting and give life to your real life people that was in your life, how do you make them sound interesting and still keep it factual?
Um, the thing is, the interesting part for readers, because okay, if they pick up your memoir, they're already interested in the topic because they wouldn't pick it up. If it's life after loss or life after divorce, they're already interested in that topic. So if you are telling them about your life and how you went through this terrible thing, and because the memoir has to be set up with the beginning, going into it, you're now in the thick of it,
Okay.
then you're coming out of it, and now then here's the lesson you gained from it. So you have to keep them engaged through all of that. But the thing is, especially when it comes to characters, that people have to be very, very careful with when writing a memoir is putting your opinion in your memoir. So if you're dealing with abuse and this person is a very bad person, they're abusive, they're mean, they're nasty, then show us that. Show us that mean, nasty. Let us hear him say those mean, nasty things. Let us hear him or see him throwing stuff at you, whatever they did. Then your reader comes to the conclusion that, oh, I don't like him, versus you saying not to like him. You want the reader to form their own opinion of these people. If that person is boring, then the reader needs to form an opinion of that person. They need a life. Because that engages them. That makes them feel more connected to the story.
So with a memoir and a biography talks about that person's life. Okay. So with the memoir, is it just talking about significant, like maybe one significant major thing happening in a person's life, as opposed to a biography talking about the entire life?
Exactly.
I am good, girl. I don't know where I got it from, but
you got it though.
So a person can write multiple memoirs of their life.
Oh yeah, definitely. You have people who's written several memoirs. Like there's one lady, she wrote a memoir about her, and really, some people maybe write memoirs and don't even realize they write, because this lady started journaling. Her children, her boys, she had all boys, they were growing up, they were getting older, and she really wanted to capture those moments of, their life, the growing up process. So she started journaling. Well, she turned her journals into a memoir. So, it just talks about being a mom of boys and the trials and the tribulations and the scares and, all of that. But it's just about that time frame of them growing up. So a memoir can be about it doesn't even have to be a sad memoir. Like hers, not a sad memoir. It's a true to life. It's parenting, So you have funny memoirs, you have sad memoirs. It's just up to you, really, what story you want to tell, and the story that you feel will really reach your readers, whoever they may be. And that's the thing, is real, understanding who's your ideal audience. Who are you writing this story for? Because that determines the language you're using. That determines how you set this story up. If I'm writing it for a younger crowd, then I'm not going to use, really, you shouldn't use a lot of elaborate language anyway. Not so much that people feel like they need to go look it up. You don't want people to feel like they're doing a study, and they need a dictionary next to them while they're reading. So you still have to know who this story is for them.
So as an author, and just being a creative person, you do have to have that target audience. How do you still write if nobody is purchasing your books? How do you not take that personally? Or do you feel
it's hard not to take that personally?
Yeah. Or do you just look at it as, okay, well, maybe I need to learn how to do such and such?
Yeah. I think it's all a learning process, all of it, and if your book does not sell well, then you do have to ask yourself, okay, well, did I market it well? First of all, did I market it to the right people? And if you are getting feedback in terms of the story itself, then it becomes, okay, I may need to work with someone. I may need to take some classes. I may need to learn how to truly develop a story. All of these things come into play when it comes to writing. But it shouldn't be no, I can't write another book, especially like I said, because I feel like if it's in you and it's something you truly want to do, then you're meant to do something with it. Mm-hmm. So, it could just mean, okay, I need to go back to the drawing board and revamp myself as an author, learn a little more before I put another book out there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. If a person, let's say, because we know your book is awesome. I feel it just from you telling us about it. What if, your book Torn didn't sell well, but it is a great storyline. I mean, the storyline is just awesome. Mm-hmm. Can a person change that book, like maybe after they got some coaching, can they change the book and then
republish it? Yeah, definitely. You just have to make sure you can. You just have to make sure that your readers know that it is a second edition to the first book. So that means that I've changed some things, I revised some things. So this is a second edition. I published the first one. I took that one down. Now I have a second edition.
So it's not okay. Go ahead. What was you about to say?
No, I was going to say, so they'll be able to make the decision. Okay, let me try the second edition, and maybe that's a little better,
Yeah, they're like, look, I'm trying to support her. I'm trying to do it. But okay, so you're not saying just rewrite this same storyline. You're saying come up with a new storyline. Utilize your principles that you learned in that volume 2.
No, you can rewrite the same storyline.
Really?
You rewrite that same story. If you know that this is a great storyline, but your writing just didn't meet the expectations of your readers. So now you want to go back, take this storyline and maybe change it up some. That's what you do. And like I said, you can even keep the name. Whatever. If I was to revamp Torn, it would still be Torn, but it would be a second edition. So my audience knows that I added something, or I took something, I changed the story up some, but it's still the same storyline. Mm-hmm. And you may change it so much that it's a different plot to it, but the main thing, it will still deal with a daughter having to choose between her parents.
Okay. So now I know some people are watching, and you got about 50 copies of your book in a box, and Lorna may be the right coach for you. So make sure you reach out to her and just get, first, all it takes is a step. So, contact her and let her know that you're interested in that free 30-minute consultation, and just let her know, what's going on in your life with your book. And she can really just help you with that possibly. So since your memoir writing class is virtual, all of your attendees are going to be able to hear everybody's, they're going to be able to interact with you. Okay.
Right.
Okay. That's really good. And you all, if you're interested in that writing class, make sure you go ahead and register now. The registration link is in the description box. So why would somebody need a class that actually teaches them how to write a memoir, if it's simply just about their life?
Because like I said, it's those other techniques. It's making sure that you are developing this story the way that it should be developed, so that the readers are in, because you don't want to just sell to your friends and family.
Yeah, and if, they get burnt out.
Yeah, if you're writing a story that reads like a journal, probably your friends and family will be interested in that, are the people that's just nosy in the community and want to know what happened to you during that time. But you want to go further than that, and in order to do that, you have to put together a great story that has everyone saying, this was a great story. Her life, oh my gosh, I can't believe she made it through that. And, they are just raving about your story because it was so good. Like my last client, she said that everyone keeps telling her, I know it's a true story, but it reads like a novel. Like it's, and I think that engages people so much when it does read like a novel. Yeah. And, you've watched movies, and then at the end, you were like, that was a true story. And, it was like, oh, I forgot that was a true story because you were so into it, you forgot that it really happened to someone.
Yeah.
So I think books should be the same way.
Definitely. Do you try to pull like all different types of emotions from readers? Like you want them to be happy, you want them to feel sad, angry. It had to be so difficult. Yes. I'm like,
yes. But think about movies, and I keep going back to movies because and I don't even know if I told you that, but I did film a short story, short film, Secrets from the Bayou. So with movies though, it starts out, think about all the movies you read, you set up, you meet these people, this is who they are, then they're happy and they're at the prime of their life and everything's just going so good, and then bam, something happens. Now they're apart, or now they're just going through it and they're just really in this space and they're pulling themselves out of it, and then at the end they're happy again. So that's how a good book should take you through that. A good book should draw you into learning who these people are. A good book should allow you to celebrate with them, to cry with them, to come on, girl, cheer them on. You can do it, girl. Just keep going. And at the end, you're like, you should be mad that story is over. Like, I can't believe it's over. That's how you should feel by the end of that book, because you were so into it. Definitely. That's the type of books I like to read, and it's the type of books I like to write.
Yeah. And I when you were talking about the movies, that's exactly how I feel, because sometimes I watch a movie over and over and I really utilize it as background noise. And so, every time I see it and I hear a part of the movie, a line from a character, I'm like, I really hate him. I really hate this man. And so you want them to, just like you said, engage with the character.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes. That's so good. So, Lorna, I just really appreciate you for just being on the show and really just helping us have a better understanding of your book, Torn, A Daughter's Love. Hopefully we will never have to be in that situation, but I would love to find out what Angel did. And I know you all do too. So make sure you visit the description box, and the Amazon link is in the description box, as well as Lorna's website, so that you can purchase her book. Now, don't spill the beans when you read the book and tell us what Angel did.
Inbox me. You can inbox me. I've been getting inbox messages since the book came out, so I love it.
That's excellent. That's so good. So again, Lorna, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
You are welcome. And thank you all for watching another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. And we hope that you have a great night. Bye-bye. Bye.